Thanks, Lena. Florida lawmakers meeting for a special legislative session in Tallahassee to vote on several bills dealing with mask and vaccine mandates. First vote comes today. Has a lot to do with Governor DeSantis' wishes. Now, lawmakers didn't seem eager to return for this session to revisit legislation they passed a few months ago, nor impose more mandates on companies that, quite frankly, are campaign donors. Joining me on the Morning Show News for Jack's political analyst, Rick Mullaney. Good morning, Rick.
Good morning, Bruce.
So safe to say that conflict was obvious when they unveiled the four bills under consideration, because none really bans vaccine mandates, and they don't include some of the governor's more extreme ideas.
Well, Bruce, you're right. This session will not address some legislation that's been discussed in the past. For example, there will not be legislation that creates a ban on vaccine mandates for private companies. That had been discussed by some. In addition, there will not be legislation that takes away civil liability protection related to COVID-19 for private companies. That had been passed by the Florida legislature. That will not be in this session. What you will see, however, is legislation that reinforces a ban on vaccine mandates for local and state government. That means school boards, that means municipalities, that means counties, that means state government. Also, you'll see parental bill of rights that was passed in the spring that will be bolstered, including maybe a provision for attorney's fees and a right to sue to enforce those rights. And finally, maybe the centerpiece of this session will be a statutory scheme that provides exemptions and opt-outs if, in fact, a vaccine mandate is put in place for private sector companies. So take a look for those mandates. That will be the thrust of this session.
A lot of questions. Business owners want to know, how is a vaccine mandate defined? How much it will cost them to offer testing for employees? Those questions are going to be asked, but will there be answers?
Bruce, there's a great deal of uncertainty here, and I don't know if there will be answers. There's uncertainty because there's ongoing litigation at the federal level. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, of course, has enjoined President Biden's desire to impose a vaccine mandate for private companies over 100 employees. That's being done through OSHA. There's an injunction on that. Secondly, you may see litigation coming out of what's passed by the Florida legislature in this session. And so when it comes to the administrative pieces, private sector and for employers, there is a great deal of uncertainty. And although this session will end this week, maybe even tomorrow, I expect that some uncertainty is going to remain.
So the other big issue here is, how are businesses and healthcare providers supposed to comply with conflicting state and federal requirements?
Well, Bruce, I'd probably put private businesses and healthcare providers in two different categories. For private businesses of 100 employees or more, those are the ones in which OSHA, which was established in 1970, has established a rule that requires a vaccine mandate and an opt-out if there's going to be testing in a mask form. However, that has been enjoined. There's an injunction by the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. And if that does go into place, it's supposed to go in place on January 4th. But remember, there is an opt-out, and that opt-out is consistent with state opt-outs, although state opt-outs are going to be broader. If you're a healthcare provider, it may be more challenging. Much more solid legal ground for the Biden administration for healthcare providers because of federal money going to healthcare providers for Medicare and Medicaid. So I suspect that one may very well be sustained. And their opt-out provisions are narrower. One of the potential conflicts between the federal rule and what may happen in Florida's session is the extent of the exemptions. The narrow exemptions under what you might call the Biden rule, the broader exemptions on what you might call the DeSantis rule. And that creates challenges for healthcare providers and for private businesses.
Let me go back to something you just mentioned a second ago. You used the word litigation. Regardless of what happens in Tallahassee, is this ultimately going to be decided by the courts?
Oh, absolutely. Bruce, I do think so. Yes, I do think so. You've seen the Fifth Circuit, which is a very conservative court, enter an injunction with some fairly strong language talking about the unconstitutionality of the OSHA rule. You're going to see a lottery come up later on because lawsuits are being filed in other circuits around the country. That will be consolidated and eventually find its way to the U.S. Supreme Court. You may see additional litigation coming out of what happens in this session. So in the end, regardless of what happens here, there's going to be ongoing litigation, probably at the state and federal level.
Rick Mullaney, always appreciate your perspective. Thanks very much.